What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. Yes, we're here again for another great video. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the best ever Dally M medalists. Yes, the Dally M medalists, the best of the best. Absolutely. Who was the best in the grand final for your team over the last 17 years? Which got spread out to a few years because there was a double winner in that, a few double winners in the Dally M medal race, including the great Jared Hayne, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk, Cameron Smith, as well as, and don't forget, Jonathan Thurston had 4. Jonathan Thurston had 4. And he didn't make the best 17 of all time. Maybe that was a mistake by me. But anyway, back to the Dally M medalist. How do we put this team into 17? Obviously, it's going to be hard because there's not a lot of forwards in the squad. But I had to make it a case to figure out where to put everyone. Obviously, the best of the best played in their positions. But then after that, it was a bit of a lottery. So first off, who would be fullback? Okay, that was pretty obvious. Billy Slater, he would be the fullback, winning this twice. He has to be in there. Billy Slater, absolutely the best fullback to ever play the game. The wing positions, it wasn't hard at end because these two have played wing quite a bit. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Jared Hayne. Jared Hayne, yeah, another one who has won it twice, and he was a gun. Unfortunately, didn't play enough to probably put himself up as one of the best to ever play the game, but unfortunately he ran away, but that's the way it goes. Centre pairing, this was getting a bit harder to really, it was getting, but Tom Zborovic clearly gets one position here. I mean, but the other one, there was really no other centres left, to be honest, so I had to put someone in, and James Tedesco I put in. I thought he was the best player of the ones, and you'll see why when we get to the bench. The halves pairing, well, obviously the Queensland combination here with Jonathan Thurston and Cooper Cronk. So these are all the Dally M winners of the last 20 odd years. I had to put them all together. Now, obviously, controversy here because the people argue one of the greatest players of all time is not in the number 7 jersey, as I've spoken about before, but I just believe Cooper Cronk, in terms of winning at different clubs, he was just so consistent in winning premierships, and that's why I put him in front of Andrew Johns. Yes, people are going to give me slack for that, but yeah, for me, Andrew Johns is a gun player. Don't get me wrong, absolute gun player. Just to me, didn't win enough premierships to say yes, and unfortunately, injuries played a part in that too. He finished his career 5-6 years earlier than what he probably would have. So that's another thing that taints a little bit of Andrew Johns, but he was, no doubt about it, in terms of ability, probably the best to ever play the game. Now, getting into the forward pack, Jason Tomalolo, obviously going to be one of the front row props. Cameron Smith at number 9. But then, after that, was very much a lottery. Because these are all backs, pretty much. I had to find who was the toughest out of the rest of the team here. Who would be able to defend well, and obviously another hooker, and unlucky that Cameron Smith was around. But Danny Badiris, very good hooker, and he is going to be playing prop in this Dally M medalist group. The back row, now really, you're starting to pick straws in the back row here. But Jack Wyden can play back row, no doubt about it. That's why I put him there. He was more likely out of all these players to play back row. The other one is highly unlikely to play back row, but he's been in the players on the bench pretty much, or potentially. Nico Hines, I put him in. I just put him in. I could see the potential of him being very good. Although you could argue that another player on the bench could have got that spot, but Nico Hines is a bit bigger body than those the bench players, so that's why he is there. And then number 13, well, the Messiah himself, Andrew Johns. Yes, no doubt about it. Very much, to me, the most creative player to ever play the game. There's some other guys that might have more footwork than him, but his kicking game was out of this world, and we have not seen anyone like it since. The closest we're getting to it is maybe Sam Walker, and we'll see how he goes, but he's a very slight body. But yeah, no doubt about it, Andrew Johns, in terms of what he could do on the field, he was well above anyone else to ever play the game. And I know Cameron Smith is very, very good, but Andrew Johns, I think, is still, to me, in terms of ability, one of the greatest to ever play it. But was he consistent enough? And that's where I beg to differ, and that's why I have Cooper Cronk in front of him, because he was super consistent. So looking at the bench here, the Dally M medalist, Benny Barber, he makes the bench. Well, obviously they're all going to make the team because he's only 17. Preston Campbell, probably a shock that people even know he won a Dally M medal. Very nice man to meet. Todd Carney at his fiery best when he was at his elite, winning himself one. And Matt Alford. I think a lot of people forgot how good Matt Alford was for a long time. Very consistent, like Cooper Cronk as well, but obviously didn't get as many premierships as Cooper Cronk, but he won quite a few, Matt Alford. So that is the Dally M medalist winner. Where could you swap some players? I think this is where people wanted to go, what are you doing here, mate? You obviously, Andrew Johns could go in with Cooper Cronk. You could swap those two around. Some people would argue Jonathan Thurston's the best halfback around. I mean, there's a lot of debate around the halfback position, to be honest. Absolutely. And Nathan Cleary is coming into that picture as well. But yeah, he's yet to win the Dally M, Nathan Cleary, so there you go. There's something else he needs to tick off his list. Yeah, it's very much a lot of them. I mean, Preston Campbell pretty much could only play 6, and he's not going to take out Thurston this season. Neither is Carney, and they're not going to take out Billy Slater either. Matt Alford's about 5th on this list of halfbacks, and that's how good Matt Alford was, and he can't make the list. Nico Hines is not going to knock off Billy Slater or the others at this stage. And Jack Whiten could have been the other centre, and Tedesco moves, but I think Tedesco's a better player, so that's why I put him there. Jared Hayne potentially could have been better than Billy Slater. Now, different types of footballers. Jared Hayne's like the Latrell Mitchells, the Greg Inglis's. But yes, to me, Jared Hayne, unfortunately, left. But the funny thing is, he came back and was outstanding again. Returning. That's how good he was. He come back and he was outstanding again. So that's how good Jared Hayne was when he left, and he come back and pretty much straight away after he had a Gold Coast Titans stint, he come back and he was gun again. So yeah, Jared Hayne is a very, very good player. Absolutely unbelievable player. Obviously, there's a lot of good players that didn't win this medal, so this has been the most consistent all year round. Then again, just to remind you, Jonathan Thurston won this 4 times. Andrew Johns won it 3 times. So Andrew Johns is a gun. Don't get me wrong, he's a gun. And then, like I said, Jared Hayne twice, and he went away for about 3 or 4 years. So that's how good Jared Hayne was. He could have maybe won a couple more if he stayed. Cameron Smith's won it twice. Cooper Cronk's won it twice. Billy Slater. So yes, Jonathan Thurston shows you, but a lot of people will argue with Jonathan Thurston and same with Andrew Johns that they played in a team. They weren't stars, and that's why they got these medals. When you compare it to Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, and Cooper Cronk, all on the same team, and that's why they all got it was a bit hard for them to win these medals. But yes, that is the Dally M medalists. Let me think of what you thought of the team. Do you think you would have swapped a few players around? Remember to subscribe and smash the like button. Rugby league is the greatest game of all. We all know that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you at the next one.